Where you live, is it messy, disorganised, dirty, unclean? Does it matter? And of course the answer is no, because wherever you live, it's your house and you can live exactly the way you want to. I'm out here where my dogs live. I keep it clean and tidy and organised out here because that's how I am. And of course they're my kids, so they have to live the same way. Isn't that interesting? My question is this though, if you're dirty, disorganised, unclean, don't leave things clean and tidy, and you take that out into the world, is it possible that you have to accept the consequences of what people will think of you if you leave a mess behind? So I was brought up as a little girl. My parents taught me to always leave a profit, which is wherever you go, whether it's a room or a house or an office or a football field or a public place, always leave it better than you found it. So leave a profit. So because that was ingrained in me and that's how I was brought up, that's how I live my life. Now, I don't expect anybody else to live their life that way. But if you don't keep things clean and tidy when you go somewhere else, so how you live, of course, doesn't matter. But use, for example, if you are working in an office and every time you have a coffee, you leave your cup in the sink and you don't wash it, is it possible that that will annoy somebody? I'll use the example in business. There are 5% of people who won't do business with a dirty, disorganised, messy business. So if somebody comes into your cafe or your restaurant or your shop and it's dirty, the windows are dirty, the toilet's dirty, and I'll use it again, another example. I've got friends who, before they ever go to a cafe or a restaurant, they go to the toilet first. And if the toilet's dirty, they don't eat there. Now, not everybody's like that. Only 5 out of 100 people have that headspace, but you don't know who those people are. So if you're in business, it's been suggested it's a really good idea to keep your office, to keep your shop, to keep your cafe, your restaurant, your place of business clean and tidy, because 5% of people won't do business with you if you don't, or if it's dirty. So I'm just going to use a personal example because this is how this adds value to my life. I always leave everything, everywhere I go, I aim to leave it better than I found it. So if I go to a public toilet and it's dirty, I always pick up the papers, wipe out the sink, aim to leave the toilet better than when I found it, which can be really revolting sometimes because I'm sure you've been to public toilets that are really horrible. If I stay in a hotel, and this is not to impress but to express how gorgeous this experience is, if I stay in a hotel, and I've stayed in thousands of them around the world, I always leave the room, and I can't leave the room better than I found it because I can't make the bed. But I always strip the bed. I put the dirty towels, the dirty sheets in a pile, in a neat, tidy pile. I collect any rubbish, put it in a bag and tie up the bag. And I always leave the shower dry. I leave the bathroom clean. So the only thing that the cleaner needs to do is pick up the dirty washing and make the bed. And I share that with you because this is such a beautiful experience. I also always leave a note for the person that cleans the room and a chocolate bar and some money, a tip. Because I've seen some hotel rooms that cleaners have to go into that are just so revolting. I can't believe that people would leave a room that way. So I came home late one night at a hotel in Brisbane, and the cleaning lady was turning down my room. And she looked at me and tears came out of her eyes and she said, "Please, can I give you a hug?" Which is quite unusual for somebody that you don't know. And she said, "I work on this floor all the time. You often stay on my floor." And she said, "You've given me all these beautiful," I always leave a friendly note, some chocolate and some money. And she said, "I've got this bag here and it's full of the things that you've given me. Even the chocolate bars that you've given me, I keep the wrappers, but I've kept all the notes that you've left for me. And every time I have a bad day, or every time somebody leaves their room really disgusting, or every time somebody treats me poorly," and as I'm sure you can imagine, people treat cleaning people very poorly. She said, "I always go," and she showed me the bag, and the bag was hanging on her, you know, the cleaning trolleys they have in hotels. The bag was hanging on that trolley, and she showed me my personal notes, and I've been staying in that hotel it was in Brisbane in Australia, and I used to stay at least once, if not twice a month. I'm sharing that with you because that added massive value to my life, not just to hers, but I felt really special because I'd added some special moments, wow moments to her life. I'm sharing that with you because, of course, you can live however you want to. But would it be nice if you had a reputation of a person who leaves a profit, adds value, people love it that you've been there, they're not happy that you leave? I always ask that question. Does a room light up when you walk in or when you walk out? And a lot of people, they brighten the room when they walk in, but I'm sure you've met people that when they leave, people go, "Oh, thank God that person's gone," because they're grumpy or miserable or messy or dirty or untidy. So if you're an unclean, untidy, messy person, it doesn't matter. But is it possible that there are people that don't live their life like that? And if you leave a mess, if you leave something untidy, you could annoy those people, upset those people. Worst case scenario, they don't want to have a relationship with you at all, and they don't want to do business with you. So you could lose money because you're messy and untidy in business. You could miss out on a beautiful relationship if you're messy and untidy. And there's a great question to be asked there. What does it say about you if you are messy, dirty, and untidy? And again, we all get to live exactly how we want to. But it's just a question because wouldn't it be nice to have a reputation of being a person that adds value, lights up a room, leaves a profit, versus really happy that she's gone, really wish they weren't in my life, they're a dirty, messy, horrible person who always leaves a mess behind them. Now, it might not be a physical mess. It could be an emotional mess. You might upset people. You might be a gossip. You might not you personally. But if you are that kind of a person, is it possible we have to accept the consequences of having a poor reputation, of being a person that doesn't leave a profit, doesn't add value, people don't like having you around? Now, the reverse of that, the flip side of that, is if you hang out with other people that are dirty, messy and untidy, they're gossips and they're critics and they're nasty people, you won't even know that you're that kind of a person because everybody else around you is that kind of a person. But what I always ask is this: what about our kids? How do we want our kids to grow up? And if we want to have kids that are respectful, and that's the question that I always ask, one of my definitions of respect is there's 3 parts to respect: self-respect, respect for other people, and respect for my environment. So if I respect myself, I'm going to be clean and tidy and organised and look after myself and be healthy, fit and strong. If I respect other people, I'm not going to be a gossip or a critic or a bully. I'm going to look after other people because I respect other humans in my life. But I'm also not going to leave a messy environment. I'm always going to leave a profit because I'm a respectful person. So wherever you stay, wherever you go, I'll use another example. If I go to a cafe or a restaurant, I always collect my cups and glasses and take them to the kitchen. I always stop and say thank you to the chef because they often don't get thanked. Often the wait staff get tipped and thanked, but the chef doesn't. Always go into the kitchen and say thank you for my lovely dinner. And the chefs aren't always nice to me and the wait staff aren't always nice to me, but that's not why I do it. I do it because I want to be the kind of person that leaves a profit. So for me, that was humdrummed into me, that was brainwashed into me as a child. Wherever you go, leave a profit. Leave everything better than you found it. And that's how I live my life. And of course, you don't have to live that way. But my only question is, if you don't live that way, do we have to accept the consequences of our actions? For everything we do, there's a positive or negative response or reaction. And I want to be the person that leaves a positive, beautiful environment behind me. How about you? These are my dogs' houses. Live your life to the max. Super duper doo. How are you? Living my life to the max. Woohoo!